Okay, so what am I up to? Well, today is Monday. It's Monday afternoon, actually. I've been out having coffee all morning. What is today? Let me see. It's December 3rd, 2018, and it is 13:35, and that's where we're at this point. I met with the fire chief this morning because we have that Wreaths Across America coming in on the 11th. If we're not too busy, I'll try to get a few videos of it. We got that going on, so I had to meet with the chief to find out exactly what he expects us to do or what he wants us to do. And met with him for about a half an hour, and I got to meet with him again next Monday at 9 o'clock to pick up all the paperwork to pass on to the squad. To the squad! So, and then I went and had coffee. Alright, now, what do I have here? Well, this is a board that I can program up to 4 channels of 20-second voice. So, I have 2 channels. What I did was I had to wire the board to fit my need, because I needed it to be exterior channels. I just don't want a board laying around, and I didn't have a project box, so I just took whatever I had at this point to protect it from shorting out and from getting banged around, and that's where I put it. Then I wrote out the directions on how I have it, so I know what I have to do, or if anybody else is going to do it, they'll know what they have to do in order to make this thing work. And luckily enough, I had a set of momentary switches that were on a small circuit board that fit in the pre-drilled holes that were in the box. So again, it's not the best box in the world, but it'll work. And then all I had to do was cut the traces on the back of the board so that the switches are isolated from everything on the trace on the board, so that I don't have to worry about them interfering with one another. And then after that, I glued them down. After I soldered them on, I glued them down to help hold them in place. So that's where I'm at. And then this will end up going on here eventually, and this will be getting mounted into the truck. And I got wire ties on the back of all these wires, so it acts as a restriction so that they can't pull out or off the board. And I'm looking for one more wire tie. I got to tie the speaker output wires, because I already had this put together, but those speaker wires are a little bit heavier than the rest. Hold on a minute. Grab the wrong one. There we go. Than the rest of the wires, and when I was snaking them through, it pulled out of the connection that it's in. So now I want to take this and see if I can get this through here, and I'm going to tie these wires off so they can't pull out, and I'll shove some in there just to make sure that there's some play on them. There we go. And then what I'll do afterwards, I'll put some glue on there to make sure that they don't pull through. And I can also put another wire tie on the wire itself so that it doesn't pull through this tie, if you know what I'm talking about. Now, once I get the alarm hooked up, see, I should be working on the alarm today. I just haven't got the, again, today's a perfect day for it. I just haven't got the motivation to do it. So that's where we're at. So meanwhile, if I hook this thing up to power, and I got 2 triggers now. I got a channel 1 and a channel 2. So I can take a couple of the trigger wires off of the alarm that I know I'm not going to be using, and I can use them on this through a either shock or not motion, shock or the other one for like an infrared type. I forgot what the hell they call it, but meanwhile I got them over there. Now if I want, what I can do is, if I go according to what I wrote down, the bottom button is the program button, and I've got a diagram up here on it as well. So up here, okay, showing the 3 buttons and the colors that they're connected to, and so on and so forth, and then down here how to do it. So if I take the bottom button and we'll say channel 2, and I push them both in, I can record. So right now it should be recording me. Okay, and channel 2 is the blue wire. So I can record to 20 seconds. So now if I take this blue wire and I trigger it off the power, push them both in, I can record. So right now it should be recording me. Okay, so that's channel 2. I can do channel 1 as well. So I got 2 20-second recordings. So I want to figure out how I want, or what I want recorded. I want channel 1 to be the first one that goes off. And I want that to let them know that when the second one goes off, that they will be recorded. So something in the way of this van is equipped with video surveillance. And then the second one that goes off, so in other words, if they don't back up, the second one that goes off is, you are now being recorded and the authorities have been notified. You know what I mean? So now they, oh shit, you know, that type of thing. So that's kind of like what I want. So the first one will be set a little bit more sensitive than the second one, but yet I don't want it so sensitive that it goes off if somebody's in the shopping center and they happen to just walk by it. So that's kind of where we're at. Now I got to record something. Now I don't know if I want to do it or have my wife do it. My wife has more of a recording type voice, if you know what I mean. So it may be better to have her do it than me. It's just that I don't know if a woman's voice, will push them both in, I can record. So right now it should be recording me. I just hit the wires. Or, you know, if it's going to be, I don't know, threatening enough, forceful enough, executive enough, you know, I don't know. Push them both in, I can record. So right now it should be recording me. Right. I'm looking for a screw here, guys. Sorry. Now, see, for test purposes, I can just hit the button. There should be a red light coming on in there. But in order for it to trigger, I need it to trigger off the wires, because the wires, the buttons are not going to be pushed manually when the alarm goes off. There. Okay. So at that point, that's where we're at. So basically, this van is alarmed with video surveillance. You are now being recorded and the authorities have been notified. Now, again, let's see.
This van is alarmed with video surveillance. You are now being recorded and the authorities have been notified.
Oh, goody, goody, goody. Now, it'll either work, or it'll become a toy for everybody to walk by and break my Cayones.
This van is alarmed with video surveillance.
I'm trying to turn it up a little bit. I got a volume control in here, so an output audio.
This van is alarmed with video surveillance. You are now being recorded and the authorities have been notified.
Yeah, so that's kind of like what I'm looking to do, but it's just not right. I got it. It's not right. So we will see what we will see. Now on the front of this, I want to see, I have it up here, but I want to make sure I have something to indicate what it is down here. So I want to put something down here as, you know, as like program channel 1, channel 2. I just don't think that my labels, if I were to make labels with the label gun or the label machine, I don't think the labels are going to stick to this. So that kind of makes things a little tough, a little tough. But that's what I'm talking about, and that's what I want to do. So when you come up to the van and the shock sensor goes off if you happen to hit it or bump into it, that's going to be the first recording.
You are now being recorded and the authorities have been notified.
Not that one.
This van is alarmed with video surveillance.
That one. Now if you continue and you hit it again, then
You are now being recorded and the authorities have been notified.
so that's kind of like where we're at. And that'll work off these wires here, the red and the blue. Right, the blue is channel 2, the channel 1 is the yellow, and red is, now the blue, those are trigger wires, and the red is also the input trigger. So that's where the power has to come from the trigger to that one.
This van is alarmed with video surveillance.
So that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. So let me shut you guys off for a minute and we'll take it from there. Okay, now in here, this is all leftover stuff from when I had my store back in the 80s and 90s. when I used to do alarms. But over the years, naturally, you know, you start using this stuff and you start running low. There's motion. I don't remember which one this was, though. I don't remember if it's... Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay. Spider, what are you doing in there? Get out of there. Sorry about that. So this is motion. Motion. Almost like a motion sensor to turn a light on or off. That's what that's for. Now that, I was going to actually use that to turn on a light. So if you were to walk too close to the front of the van, like you wanted to try to open the hood or something, a light would come on inside the van. But again, you know, how much do you, the more you put onto it, the more it's going to go wrong with it. So, this one I think is shock. Let me put this down here, because I can do this like this. I don't remember what this one is. Yeah, this one's shock, I think. I don't know if it's 1 or 2 channel. It is a 2 zone. Okay, 1, 2. So, or I can even use this. This is a 2 zone, and this is an AU, so it'll work on that alarm, and it'll plug right in. So I can have it so if zone 1 goes off, it'll take off 1. If zone 2 goes off, it'll take off 2, I think. This is an old shock sensor. All right, I got a couple of those left. Here's another dual zone. What the hell is this? A little piezo tweeter? Oh, here's a little siren. And here's a siren with a red light. Now, I was thinking about using this one inside the van if the alarm goes off. Let me see if I can hook it up real quick. Okay. Because now, if you're in the van and the lights are flashing and the siren's going off, you're not going to be able to think straight. You're going to be confused. You're going to want to get out of there. So that's why I was thinking about hooking this up in the van as well. So when the alarm goes off on the outside, this will go off on the inside. So this has to stay out, and that red one has to stay out. And the rest of this can go back in. What did I just do with the motion one I just had? Oh, I got the camera sitting on it. This one I'm not going to use just yet. I'll use that another time, and I don't need this. And I don't need this one. Okay, so that's where we're at. So that's what I need. But I first have to get the alarm hooked up. You know, like I said earlier, I have to have the initiative. I have to, you know, I have to want to be out there. And sometimes I just don't want to be out there. Now today is a perfect day. It really is. It's like 60 degrees out there today. It's just, I just don't feel like being out there. You know, I know if I went out there and I got started, that I'd be fine. But I just can't get out there and get started. So, all right. So meanwhile, guys, that's where I'm at.